Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 22 of July and welcome to the Hindu newspaper analysis. So guys, in the today's video, we are going to take the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper along with all the way forward and the backgrounds. Now guys, before starting up, first of all, I would like to tell you that you can download the explainer PDF from the Telegram channel. Okay, the link for the Telegram channel has been given in the description box. And now, first of all, let's start seeing the newspaper overview. Now guys, moving on. So first of all, here we can see that first of all, this is the front page of the Hindu newspaper. The first article talks about the presidential elections results that have been declared. So we will be seeing this particular article, that what could be the implications and what is the symbolism that is attached here. Then guys, after moving on, okay, basically here we see that basically the new prime ministership post into the Sri Lanka is onto the cards. Fine. However, you don't need to follow this particular thing. Fine, on to the day-to-day development, because a lot of such developments are happening on Sri Lanka every day. Then moving on, Sonia Gandhi appears before ED, clarify actions taken against hate speech. So guys, here it has been seen that now we find this particular thing that, see, actually there are the hate speeches and then there are the dissent that is being given. So basically when we talk about the dissent should be allowed as a matter of fundamental right, but the hate speech should not be allowed. Now what is the difference between this dissent and the hate speech? Many times into the name of dissent the hate speech is being given, and many times hate speech is being shown just as a dissent. So this particular clarity is not there. So therefore the center and the state governments, they have been told that you need to take some you need to track this particular development. After that guys, moving on, Kejriwal keen on Singapore trip despite LG no. Fine. So just the issue is going on. Fine, where the Delhi chief minister wants to go to attend the World Cities Summit, but he's not being given a permission. Not important for our examination. Then guys, moving on, the regional section, the regional issues etc. have been given. Fine, advertisements etc. all have been given in this particular place. No, not important. Now today on the Friday there is a spotlight article that has come. Indigenous tax splits Assamese Muslim wide open. Now guys, with respect to the UPSC, the article does not contain the academic substance. Okay, so no need to read this particular article. Then guys, moving on in this particular direction. Fine, again we will be reaching directly to the editorial section. However, in between, see, stolen 19th century painting traced to US museum. Okay, after that Mamta says BJP won't get a majority. See, so in the state section such kind of things will be coming. However, with respect to the examination, not very much important articles, because such kind of things are actually not asked in our examinations. Fine. However, if for art and culture, if there is a particular style of painting etc. that is there, that is important. Fine. However, in these articles substance is not there. Now coming to the editorial page. So the first article is talking about the Pegasus Battle. We'll see this particular article, what it is talking about. Madam President, guys, this particular article also we will see with respect to the symbolism that is attached. Then advantage New Delhi in the Sri Lanka's India lifeline, and then there is one more article onto the Sri Lanka that has come onto the op-ed page number 9. So we will be seeing that what has been provided with respect to the Sri Lanka. Then the welcome relief. Now guys, this particular article, see what has happened. Mohammed Zubair, okay, he was the co-founder of the fact-checking website Alt News. Recently he was arrested because of his some tweets. Now the Supreme Court has to intervene in between, and then only the basically the journalist, he got a bail. So here the article is just saying that it is not a good sign that every time the Supreme Court has to interfere just to restore the people's personal liberty. Fine. In India, I have first of all discussed this particular thing earlier also, that the bail, it is being given in a very restrictive sense, which is not good. So in a democracy, in a welfareist state, the bail needs to be the norm and the jail needs to be an exception, but opposite is happening. So this article is just talking about the case of Mr. Mohammed Zubair. Fine. However guys, if you are following the newspaper analysis regularly, we have discussed in detail that why India needs a new bail reform and why India needs even a bail act on the line of the UK. So bail act, bail reforms, criminal justice reforms, these are certain things which are actually important for our examination. Particular case where a person has been arrested, the details of that particular case is not something important. Fine. Then moving on, after that, the songs of the summer night. Okay, so guys, this is a notebook article. In the notebook article, the author, he basically jots down some of his own experiences. Then moving on, Kerala's fight against the monkeypox. So guys, what steps are being taken into the Kerala to fight against the monkeypox have been discussed. However, already we have discussed what the monkeypox is. So guys, we have seen that when we talk about the monkeypox, it is prevalent since 1970s in the Africa, particularly the countries such as the Congo are the ones where the monkeypox is endemic. Fine, now why the monkeypox is coming so much into the news? Because now for the first time it has been found in the parts outside the Africa, though earlier some cases were there, okay, but now in the Europe as well as into the North America, many cases of monkeypox have come. In the Kerala also the monkeypox cases there. Is it clear or not? Fine. Then moving on, 1 year since the Pegasus. So there is one more article on the Pegasus. We'll see this article also of macho man and invisible women. So guys, with respect to the society, GS paper number 1, there are certain issues in this particular article that we are going to see. Clear? Then after that, moving on, Supreme Court to await Varanasi judge's decision in Gyan Vapi case. Guys, please don't at all follow this particular development because such political issues are not important for our UPSC examination. Okay, so no need to go too much into the detail here. Then moving on, after that, Uddhav Camp's question speaker's decision, not important. Now this article is important, talking about Karnataka tops the Niti Aayog's innovation index. So we'll see that what are the findings and what are the implications, what India should do in this particular direction more. Innovation, guys, is very much important in driving economic growth of a country. So very important article. We'll see this thing. Then guys, this entire page, it is majorly filled by the new presidential election that has happened, okay, and the plots that have been given. Okay, we will be taking this particular thing with the editorial article that is there. Okay, opposition urges Murmu to guard the democracy. So the role of president actually happens to be very important in this particular direction. Couple of days back, I have taken one complete editorial also where we have seen that that's Dr. Sarvapalli Shri Radhakrishnan ji, okay, Rajendra Prasad ji, how these people have not been just the mere rubber stamps. They had their voice of own. So in similar way, the new president should also guard the democracy. This is something that has been provided. Rajya Sabha again got adjourned, fine, because of the inflation price rise that is there. Okay, after that, moving on, no need to amend the anti-defection law. We will see this particular article also. Then food should reach all the migrants. So Supreme Court has told the center as well as the state. We'll see what has happened in this particular article, and a very good issue and very important issue, in fact, the food security we are going to see here. Then after that, potholes appear on Bundelkhand Expressway, nothing important. Women have right to safe abortion, Supreme Court. So guys, again a very important article, we'll see this thing. Now with opposition absent, Lok Sabha defers the debate onto the Antarctic Bill. So guys, as the walkaways are going on, opposition are not basically participating into these particular things. Okay, so the Antarctica Bill has been deferred. Now already I have discussed this Antarctica Bill with you. So Antarctic Bill has been floated by the government to basically see the people who are in the Antarctica, the scientists who are working there, okay, the researchers who have been sent on to the expedition, so to regulate their behavior. Okay, so to enhance jurisdiction of India over the people working in Antarctica, this Antarctic Bill was raised. Okay, after that, onto the world page, Lee says all foreign students can return. So basically the Chinese premier Li Keqiang had said that because of the COVID-19 pandemic, that the students who went out, okay, for example, many of the Indian students, they were studying in China, they came back to the India. They now wanted to go back to China to resume their studies, but they were not being given the visa. Now they will be given back the visa. Fine. So this is something. After that, the Italy PM quits after coalition falls apart. Russia resumes gas supplies to Europe via the Nord Stream. Okay, so this is, guys, a kind of a little bit of a normalization that is coming. Then moving on, after that, basically, for example, onto the business page, this particular article has come where the Asian Development Bank has forecasted that India's growth will be 7.2%. Is it clear or not? After that, guys, if you see, the FICCI survey has come. Now FICCI survey says that the India's growth rate will slow to 7%. Earlier it was forecasted at 7.4%. Now it has went to 7%. So see, whatever these forecasts are coming now, you don't need to follow these forecasts. Why? Because these forecasts, they depend a lot onto the developments, the economic developments that are going on. So as the inflation will little bit go down or will go up, these all the forecasts are going to get changed. Fine. So you need not to make notes out of all these particular things. Okay, then moving on, Banks NPA ratio likely to fall to 5 to 5.55% by 2024. So guys, NPA, these are the non-performing assets. These are the loans which have been given by the bank, but now the bank is not receiving the EMIs, bank is not receiving the interest. So non-performing assets are there. Now guys, if high number of non-performing assets are there, they will create a kind of a burden on the banking system. Now guys, when we talk about this particular thing, basically now a good news comes that the NPAs are reducing around 5 to 5.55%. Okay, so basically guys, in 2022 around the month of March they were around 5.9%, and now they will further get reduced. Is it clear or not? So guys, basically we have seen this particular thing that earlier they expanded to nearly 7%, 8%, but now the NPs are stabilizing. This is a positive development. Is it clear or not? Now guys, what is this 5% or 5.5%? Okay, so this is the gross national performing non-performing asset. So whatever the loan you have given, in comparison to the loan, how many are non-performing? Okay, so that is something fine. However, you don't need to go too much into the deep in this particular article. Then further moving on, okay, a revenue on auto parts firm to grow 8 to 10%, nothing is important. Corporate issues have been given, not important. Fine, corporate news is not important for your UPSC exam. Then we have the sports page. Is it clear? Now guys, on the sports page, the cricket, okay, and all these things are being talked about. Now see, when we talk about the sports page, see, on the sports page, from the sports page, much of questions have not been asked. There are one or two questions that were asked last to last year, but we cannot call it as a trend. Okay, last to last year one or two questions were asked, but last year no questions were there. Before that, the questions are not asked from this particular sports category. Is it clear? Now moving to the articles, and let's discuss all of them one by one in the detail. So guys, again I would like to tell you that please download this PDF from the Telegram channel so that you can follow with me as I will be taking this particular article. So guys, every class I start with the GS quotation which you can use in one of your GS papers. So today I will be taking the quotation given by the Howard Zinn. So Howard Zinn says that the dissent is the highest form of patriotism. Dissent is the highest form of the patriotism. Now guys, understand that first of all, who is a patriot? Now, patriot is a person who loves his country. Patriot is a person who loves his country. And when you love your country, you need to make your country better. You want to make your country perfect. And how a country can be made better, how it can be made perfect? By eradicating the flaws that are there, by eradicating the limitations, okay, the shortcomings that are there in your nation. And the dissent is a way to show what things are going wrong. Dissent is a way to show the imperfections in a democracy. So in a democracy, the people who are dissenting, they are actually the ones who are the patriots. Is it clear or not? Now guys, see, there is a difference between the patriotism and the nationalism. When we talk about nationalism, nationalism is you love your country whatsoever your country does. But patriotism is different. Patriotism is just the love for your country, and you aspire to make your country even more better. And how the country can be made better? By dissenting on certain issues. So guys, this particular idea can be utilized in GS paper number 2. GS paper number 2, polity as well as the constitutional issues. Right now, why dissent is very important? Because guys, now the dissent is being seen something as anti-national and all these kind of things, but that is not correct. Even into the name of dissent, the journalists are being arrested and all these things are going on. So dissent, correct perception is that dissent is a type of, is a highest form of perception, patriotism. So please use it in your answers, please note it down, and even in your essay, there could be a lot of utility of this particular quotation. Now let's take the first article. So guys, the first article we will be taking with respect to the presidential election that has happened, and we got our new president, fine, Shrimati Draupadi Murmu. Now understand this particular thing guys, that for your UPSC examination, the political journey, that okay, how when she got elected as basically the counselor, okay, what was his role into the BJP and all these kind of things, are not at all important for your examination. Rather, we need to see the symbolism that is attached with this election. So when we talk about the symbolism, guys, this particular election has a lot of rich symbolism. Number one, what has happened now, we see that the highest office of our country, the office of the president, now basically a tribal president is preceding the president who belonged from the Dalit community. What it shows? It shows that the government is now paying attention towards the marginalized communities who have always been on the fringes of development. Now the marginalized communities are being brought into the mainstream and they are being given the highest political offices. So the president belonging to the tribal community, okay, is succeeding the president, the erstwhile president who belonged to the Dalit community. So it is a very good thing, number one, that has happened. Secondly, when we talk about Shrimati Draupadi Murmu, fine, she is first of all the first tribal president. She is the first tribal president of the country. Moreover, she is also the youngest president. Okay, so she is 64 years old. She is the youngest president. And secondly, she is the second women president who has been elected. Now, guys, just I wanted to connect this particular thing. What happened recently? The global gender. Okay, recently what happened? Global gender gap report, global gender gap index, global gender gap index was released. Clear? Now in this global gender gap index, India's rank was actually 135. Fine. Now India's rank 135 out of 146 countries was not a very good rank. But guys, when we talk about the global gender gap index, in this particular thing, there is one particular category, that is the category of the political empowerment. However, on the political empowerment front, India's rank was very much good. Is it clear or not? India's rank is below 50 there within this category of political empowerment. And in the political empowerment, our rank will now further increased. Why? Because the highest political office has been given to the women. So we got the second women president. Moreover, guys, India has been a country which is working very good on that particular direction. So this is one more added feather in the hat that has been there. Now, the second thing, guys, is that basically when we talk about the founding fathers of our constitutions, they were particularly very much considerate about the disadvantages that have been faced by the tribal people. Now see, the tribal people, they were living in their forests, they were living into the jungles, but when the Britishers came, the tribals, they were removed from the forest because they wanted to they wanted to exploit the timber, they wanted to exploit the forest for the resources. So the tribal people, they got excluded from their forest. Now when we framed the constitution, we gave special provisions for the tribal people. For example, the 5th schedule and the 6th schedule into the constitution has been added. Now 5th schedule deals with the scheduled areas in the country, and 6th schedule deals with the tribal scheduled areas in four of the states, that is the Meghalaya, Assam, Tripura and Mizoram. So 6th schedule deals with the scheduled areas, tribal areas in the 4 states, Meghalaya, Assam, Tripura, Mizoram, and 5th schedule deals with the scheduled areas in the other parts of the country, and specifically the tribal people are being given attention. Now guys, when we talk about the tribal people's movement, Mr. Jaipal Singh Munda, fine, has been the towering personality. He was a tribal leader, he was a tribal sportsman, and he always articulated the hopes as well as the fear of the tribal people. And now making a tribal woman as the president, we have given the due share to the tribal people that they deserved. Moreover, guys, into the past, for the tribal people, many such other things have also been done. For example, in 2000, 2 of the states that were created, that is the Jharkhand and the Chhattisgarh, both of the states were created just to uphold the tribal people, to focus on their attention. A specific state was created. Moreover, guys, in terms of the law, we have also come out with the Scheduled Tribe and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Recognition of Forest Rights Act. In short, we also call it as a Forest Right Act 2006. Under this Forest Rights Act, the tribal people, basically their land titles have been recognized, their community rights have been recognized. They have been given the land, they have been given the rights over the community resource. What is the community resource? For example, there is a lake, there is pond, okay, there is some kind of a community forest. So over that community resource as well as onto the land, they have been given the rights. Is it clear or not? Moreover, guys, even now when we talk about the tribal people, there were a lot of displacement of the tribal people that used to happen. So that now under the Forest Right Act, even if there is any development project that has to be brought into the tribal area, Gram Sabha has to give a consent. Without that cannot happen. So India's track record in conserving the tribal rights have been fair, but now the time has come that we need to pay more attention, and now it is being expected that as the new president has come, she will pay special attention to the concerns of many tribal people. Still the tribal activists raise this particular issue that there is the systemic erosion of the protections, there is a systemic erosion of the rights of the tribal people. They face harassment by the police, okay, they face many kind of a discrimination, there is intolerance, fine, still their development is being ignored. So the pending issues might be taken up under the new president that has come. So this is, guys, a rich symbolism that has been there. So these are the views that, or these are the dimensions that you need to see. So that is all about it, and now let's move to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article we have taken again from the Hindu, and the article talks about the Karnataka, which has topped the Niti Aayog's Innovation Index list. Fine, Karnataka tops Niti Aayog's Innovation Index list. So, first of all, where this particular article is going to be important, this particular article is going to be important in GS paper number 3, GS paper number 3, Innovation. GS paper number 3, Innovation. Moreover, guys, this particular article can also be used as an example of competitive federalism. So please use these particular words in your answers. I am using a word here, competitive federalism. Okay, so I will tell you that how we can use it into the competitive federalism. First of all, let's discuss this article first. So basically, guys, when we talk about the innovation, innovation is very much important for the economic development of a country. If there will be the high innovations, is it clear or not, many such products, many such kind of things could be brought which might enhance the productivity, which will solve the problems at the grassroots. Okay, so innovation is very important. Now, first of all, when we talk about the innovation, guys, before coming in this particular article, I would like to tell you that first of all, there is a global ranking for the innovation. Into the global ranking, there are the countries which are ranked, and when we talk about the global ranking, we have the GII, that is the Global Innovation Index. Is it clear or not? Now, this Global Innovation Index, it is organized by the WIPO. It is organized by the WIPO, that is the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO. So, guys, first of all, recently in 2021, actually, we got the latest Global Innovation Index ranking, and under this Global Innovation Index, India's rank was 46. Is it clear or not? So number one, India's rank of 46 is a very good rank, and India is improving onto the Global Innovation Index also. Into the Global Innovation Index, India's rank was 81 in 2015, and from 81 we have reached to 46 into the 2021. So into the global innovation, India is doing very much good, as we can see into the Global Innovation Index released by the WIPO. Now, guys, on the lines of this particular thing, the Niti Aayog has also come out with an idea. Niti Aayog's idea is that we should come out with the India's Innovation Index. Now, in this India's Innovation Index, the states within the India, they will be competing with each other, and the states, they will be given the ranking that which state is most innovative, okay, and all these particular things. So basically, under the India Innovation Index, Niti Aayog determines the innovation capacities, the innovation ecosystem at the sub-national level. Now, first of all, let's see the ranking that has been there. So, guys, in this particular innovation index table, fine, the states have been categorized into the different group. For example, the major states, then there are the northeast and the hilly states category that is there. Then, guys, the UT and the city state category are there. So different categories are there. Now, when we talk about the major states of India, in this particular thing, the Karnataka is a state which got the score of 18.01, and it got the first rank. Fine, and then second rank is of Telangana, third rank is of Haryana. You don't need to go and mug up this entire ranking. Fine, just the first rank holder is the Karnataka. Now, guys, when we talk about the worst performers in this particular category, Chhattisgarh has been the worst performer in the major states category. Clear? Now, this is something that has been there. Now, guys, let's analyze this entire issue with respect to our examination. Now, first of all, when we talk about the average score of innovation in India, it is still insufficient. Now, first of all, I tell you what is the aspiration of India. India wants to be in the top 25 countries into the Global Innovation Index. Right now, our rank rank is 46, as I told you, the latest rank is 46. We want to have the rank into the top 25, and for that particular thing we need to further invest onto the innovation. Is it clear or not? Now the question comes that okay, you want to improve further the rank, further the score, what could be the measures, what could be done? So guys, let's see that what could be done in this particular direction. Number one, we need to increase the gross domestic expenditure on research and development. Okay, so every country does some expenditure onto the R&D, and this expenditure is measured as a percentage of the GDP of the country. Is it clear or not? Now first of all, when guys I tell you that what basically GDERD we are doing, or what expenditure we are doing onto the research and development, so India just does 0.7%. India spends 0.7% of GDP onto the research and development. For number one, we need to increase this 0.7% expenditure that we are doing to at least 2%. Clear? Now guys, what is the India's expectation? India wants to become a $5 trillion economy. $5 trillion economy we want to become. We want to generate jobs. We want to become the state of the art manufacturing hub. We want to drive our service sector. Is it clear or not? We need to drive the electronic vehicle industry. We need to drive the fourth industrial revolution. We need to drive the Internet of Things. So how IoT, Internet of Things, fourth industrial revolution, fine, EV hub can be driven in India only by innovating, only by increasing the expenditure into the innovation, research and development. So increase it at least from 0.7% to 2%. Fine, this is one thing that is there. So, and moreover guys, the second thing that you can see is that we also need to enhance the private sector participation into the research and development. Now in the research and development, public organization, for example IISc Bangalore is there, then other R&D organizations are there, they are doing the major expenditure. So private sector's role is also needed to be enhanced. Further, it has also been said that we need to basically identify that what type of research and development is actually needed. So see, first of all, there is certain research and development that is demanded by the industry. Okay, fine. So basically what industry demands, that particular type of research and development needs to be done. Moreover, we also need to bring the changes in our education system. Is it clear? Because guys, today the focus is more onto the rote learning, cramming. Okay, now we need to instill the out of box thinking in our children. Okay, so the reforms into the school education, reforms into the higher education are needed to be done. Now just if I give you one additional point beyond the scope of this particular article, then guys, already we have come out with the new education policy 2020. Now the new education policy 2020 had already provided that it aims to instill the critical skills. It aims to instill the critical skills. Is it clear or not? Innovative skills it aims to induce into the student. Moreover, into the NEP, we find that now the 10+2 system has been changed to 5+3+3+4 system. Now from the 6th standard onwards, the children will be taught vocations, coding, etc. So by this particular thing also, in the education, the gap that is there, we can fill. But what you need? We need proper implementation of the new education policy 2020. Understand this particular thing guys. In India, there is not at all the problem of schemes. Schemes are there, initiatives are there. What is the problem? Problem is always of implementation. Now we need to say that okay, if you need to improve the education system, to improve the innovation, the NEP needs to be implemented properly on the ground, both in letter as well as spirit. Then further moving on, basically it has been provided by the Niti Aayog that the countries who spend less onto the research and development, the countries whose gross domestic expenditure onto the research and development is less, they fail to retain their human capital. Now guys, what is human capital? See, you have the physical capital, which is your plant, machinery, land. You have financial capital, that is the money. Now the human capital are the young people of our country. Now see, these humans, the young people, they can either be a capital or they could be a burden on us. So how to make them a capital? You need to educate them, you need to work on their health, you need to work on their skills. So if we want to convert our youth in the human capital, if we need to retain them, we need to spend onto the R&D. Okay, because by R&D, by research and development, we we can enhance their capabilities. So into the long term, if you want to retain your human capital, you need to innovate. Okay, this is something that has been provided. Now guys, there is a certain problem also into the context of India. Basically the private sector, it needs to pick up the pace into the research and development. Here we have the examples of South Korea and the USA. In South Korea and USA, the major innovation is brought by the private sector. Why? Because the private sector is very actively participating into the research and development in the South Korea and the USA. So we need to learn from these countries, and we need to provide them the incentives. We need to create such kind of an ecosystem that the private investment thrives. Is it clear or not? So we need to reach an inflection point. See, this is public investment, private investment is there. So basically what we need to do, we need to reach an inflection point. Inflection point is one where the private investment will overtake the public investment. This is something that is to be done. So that is all guys about this particular article. And see, again I'll tell this particular thing, that you just don't need to read the ranking that okay, that state is first, this state is second, or who releases this particular report. No, that is not something which you need to read for UPSC. You need to have a thorough analysis of this particular thing, because even on the innovation, even an essay has been asked. So even in GS paper number 3, this question could be there. Fine. Now moving to the next article. Okay. So guys, basically this particular article, it says that women have right to safe abortion. Supreme Court has passed recently this order. Now first of all, before going in this particular article, I would like to tell you one particular thing. So today is 22 July. Yesterday, that is on to the 21 July, I had taken this particular article with you guys. 21 July yesterday, I have taken this particular article with you. Now this particular article was about the Delhi High Court judgment, where the Delhi High Court allowed a rape victim to terminate pregnancy after the 26 weeks. Is it clear or not? So into the yesterday's news analysis, I have discussed this entire issue. I have discussed with you the pro-life versus pro-choice debate, which is very much important for our ethics GS paper number 4. There we have even seen the comparison between the MTP Act of 1971 and the comparison between the MTP of 2021. Now guys, in this particular line of abortion, there is now one more ruling that has come by the Supreme Court. Okay, so there is now one more ruling that has come by the Supreme Court. So guys, abortion happens to be a very important topic this particular year, even into the upcoming year, and there could be a question that could be asked. Clear? By the way, just one thing I would like to tell you first, that in case if you have not seen the yesterday, that is the 21st July of newspaper analysis, I will advise you that you can please go and watch the 21 July newspaper analysis. In the timestamp, you will find the timestamp of this particular article, directly reach there. It will further enhance your understanding. Okay, now let's come to the today's issue. So what is the issue guys? Now basically, the Supreme Court had provided this particular thing, that the right to safe abortion is a right that every woman has. According to the Supreme Court, they have said that denying the right to abortion to an unmarried woman, okay, it violates her personal autonomy, it violates her personal freedom. In a way, it violates the article number 21 of the Indian Constitution, where the right to liberty, right to life has been guaranteed. Basically guys, what happened, just though this is not important for your exam, but I am telling you just to make you understand this particular issue in more better way. So basically what happened, one woman approached the courts, and she wanted to terminate the pregnancy. By using the provision of the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act. But when we talk about the Medical Termination Pregnancy Act, the pregnancy can be terminated if the marital status has been changed, if a pregnancy is because of a rape, if pregnancy is because of incest, and all these kind of an issue. Now the women who approached the court, she said that she was in a live-in relationship, and now his other partner, the woman's other partner, had went away, and now she doesn't want to carry the pregnancy. Now the courts have not allowed to terminate the pregnancy, because they say that the MTP Act just provides that the pregnancy can be terminated if your marital status have been changed, but you are not at all married, number one. Number two, if the pregnancy is out of a rape, but this pregnancy is not out of a rape, that was the consensual sexual sexual activity that took place. So according to the MTP, we cannot allow you to terminate this particular pregnancy. So then this particular women approached to the Supreme Court, and now the Supreme Court has taken a comprehensive view. Okay, now guys, there are two things. Number one, there is the letter of the law, and second is the spirit of the law. Letter is that whatever is written into the law, you just read clause by clause and decide. That is the letter of the law. Spirit of the law. Spirit of the law is deeper. So Supreme Court had said that first of all, when we talk about the women, they have the right of personal autonomy. They have the right of personal freedom, and that particular right is also given to the unmarried women. Here it has been said that the lower court have taken unduly restrictive view. Is it clear? There they had said this particular thing, that when we talk about today, there is the social mainstream, which basically, see, today we feel that the women who are having the premarital sex, the women should not have that particular thing. We equate the premarital sex with the character of a woman, but the Supreme Court had said that there is nothing wrong in engaging into the premarital sex, and it can even lead to the pregnancy. And if there is a kind of a pregnancy, then we need to respect the autonomy of the women, we need to respect the bodily integrity of the women. The social morality should not be unnecessarily imposed on the women. The Supreme Court has said that as per the article number 21, right to reproductive choices, reproductive choices to carry a pregnancy or to not to carry a pregnancy, it is a reproductive choice. Every woman should be allowed that particular thing. So this is something that has been decided here by the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court said that if the woman wants to discontinue the pregnancy, she should be allowed. If you don't allow the women, then it will lead to the violation of her bodily integrity. It will not only lead to the violation of bodily integrity, but also it will enhance the mental trauma for the women. Even guys, in the yesterday's case, the minor rape victim was allowed to abort after 26 weeks because of the mental trauma that was there. Is it clear? So guys, this is the issue. And now see, many articles are coming on this abortion. Even in GS paper number 4, pro-life versus pro-choice debate, it is a very important topic. So I will just request you, if in case you have not seen the yesterday's discussion where I have discussed this pro-choice and pro-life, please watch it. Clear? Otherwise, if you have seen, then no need to watch it again. Now coming to the next article. Food should reach all migrant workers, the Supreme Court tells center and the states. Now this particular article will see with respect to the GS paper number 2, social justice, food security, okay, and this food security, for that particular matter, it can also be used into the GS paper number 3. Now let's discuss this particular thing. So basically guys, the Supreme Court has taken a matter on the suo motu basis. What is the suo motu basis? Suo motu basis is that when a person has not made a petition to the court by itself has taken a matter. So before going in this particular article guys, let's see some of the background first so that we can understand this article better. So let's take the background. So first of all, we have the National Food Security Act 2013. Under the National Food Security Act, subsidized food grains can be provided to the people, fine, and in this particular thing, at 3 rupees per kg rice can be provided, at 2 rupees per kg wheat can be provided, and at 1 rupees per kg there are the coarse grains that can be provided. The National Food Security Act covers the it covers the 50% people in the urban areas. It covers 75% people into the rural areas, and in the entire country 66% of the people, they are eligible to receive the subsidized food grains under the National Food Security Act. And if a person wants to receive the subsidized food grains under the National Food Security Act, a person needs to have a ration card, and by using the ration card from the fair price shop, the person can avail his entitlements of food. This is something that is going on. Now guys, if we see actually who is the person who needs the benefit under the National Food Security Act, the poor person. And many of the poor person actually are the migrants in our country. Many of the poor person are the migrants in our country. For example, a person living in Bihar, very poor, did not had opportunity in the Bihar to work. He comes to Delhi. Now in Delhi, he is a migrant. So we find that there are so many of the migrants in our country. Virtually most of the laborers, okay, the people who are building this particular country, they have come from few of the very poor states. So they are migrants. Clear? Now, what happened? They were working and they were meeting their livelihood. But in 2020, what happened? In 2020, the lockdown was announced. Now, when the lockdown was announced, these people obviously will not be able to work. How they will eat? How they will survive? Why they cannot survive? Because guys, understand this particular thing, that already National Food Security Act is there, but under National Food Security Act, if you want to avail the food, you need to have a ration card. But there is a problem. If you are from Bihar, you have a ration card of Bihar, your ration card of Bihar will not be entertained in Delhi. In Delhi, if you need to get the food from the fair price shop, you need to have a Delhi's ration card. Similarly, the ration card of UP will not be entertained in Bihar, Bihar's ration card will not be entertained in Rajasthan. So your ration card could be entertained in that state only. But migrants, poor people, they are living in another states. How they can get the food? They cannot get the food. But earlier, they were earning their livelihood and they were actually buying the food from the private market. But when the lockdown started, people started to go, they started to migrate back to their villages because they know that they are not able to survive here. Then at that point of a time, this particular thing came to an important limelight, that this is something, such a wrong thing that is going on. By the way guys, I'll tell you one particular thing, that even before the pandemic, government came out with one nation one ration card scheme. One nation one ration card scheme. Under this one nation one ration card scheme, the government proposed this particular idea, that we are going to make the ration card portable. It means that even if you have the Bihar's ration card, you can get the food in Rajasthan. You have Rajasthan's ration card, you can get the food in Maharashtra. So a universal portability of ration card will be brought. Government came out with this particular scheme even before the pandemic. But this one nation one ration card has not been implemented. In the pandemic, the implementation was not there. So what happened? The migrant, they did not had any avenue by which they can get food. They started to walk back to their home states. So, and we have seen that in 2020, a big humanitarian crisis actually happened in India. So Supreme Court has taken this particular matter into the lockdown itself. And Supreme Court has now directed both the state as well as the central government that the food should reach all the migrant workers. Okay. Now what the Supreme Court provides this particular thing? Supreme Court provides this particular thing, that during the pandemic and during the lockdowns, there was a lot of distress. The migrants were facing the problem. The right to food is actually a fundamental right under Article number 21. According to Supreme Court, the right to food is a fundamental right under Article number 21. No citizen should die of hunger. No citizen should stay hungry. But a large number of migrants did not got the food because they did not have the ration card. So therefore, now the Supreme Court has told the center as well as the state government that it is your moral responsibility. You have to ensure that every hungry people is getting the food. Now what we can do, what could be the suggestions, what could be the way forward? Fine. So guys, way forward could be like this. Number one, you can provide that immediately we need to implement the one nation one ration card scheme on the pan India level. Second thing guys is that, see, when this particular migrant crisis was going on, at that point of a time, it was discovered that even India is not having any data on the number of migrant. Even if you want to give the welfare to the migrant, some dedicated welfare is to be given, you don't have any number onto the migrant. So at that point of a time, government came out with one initiative. This initiative was that government created one platform. The name of the platform was the e-Shram portal. Government asked the migrant that you register your name onto the e-Shram portal. By this particular thing, we get the database of all the migrant people. We will get a database that, okay, what is their name, where they are living, what type of occupation they are doing, and in future, if there is such kind of a problem again came, then we can reach to the migrant people through this particular e-Shram portal. So the data has been collected. Now we can use this particular point also as a way forward. We can provide that today, as of present on e-Shram portal, there are nearly 28 crore workers that have registered. So basically, we need to see that out of these 28 crore workers that got registered, how many are having the ration card. The ones who are not having the ration card, number one, provide the ration cards to them, and the one who are having the ration card, make sure that they are given the food in another states also. The state's ration card, fine, should not be insisted. Any ration card if they are having, they should be given the food. Now guys, when we take the example of the states, for example, the Telangana provides this particular thing, that in the Telangana 75% of migrants that are there, they don't even have the ration card. So number one, we need to collect the data from the e-Shram portal and see the ones who are not having ration card, it is to be provided them, and one who got, it needs to be made sure that they are given food. Okay. Moreover, the community kitchens can also be established. The dry ration and the take home away ration cards can be given to the people without insisting onto the identity proof. So this is, guys, the entire issue. And when we talk about the food security, in the food security of migrants is the most important one. Is it clear or not? And guys, when I want to give you an idea. According to Amartya Sen, he says that the hunger is a problem of three A's. 3A. One, what is the 3A? Number one, the food is not affordable. Second, just a minute. Number one, the food is not available. Second, the food is not affordable. And the third is the food is not accessible. Okay. Now, when the food was not available in 1960s, at that point of a time, food shortage was there in India. Today, after Green Revolution, we have a lot of food available. Abundance of food is there. Was not affordable. Why? Before the National Food Security Act of 2013. Even in 1960s, we came out with the PDA system. So the food affordability is not a problem. Even now, after the NFSA of 2013, food is more even affordable. As a matter of right, you can get the food. But today the problem is that the food is available, the food is affordable, but food is not accessible. Even you having ration card cannot avail the food. So to remove this accessibility, all these reforms are to be implemented. Now moving to the next article. 1 year since the Pegasus spyware revelation. This article is taken from the text and the context page, and the same article has come onto the editorial page, the Pegasus Battle, the fight for surveillance reform. Now both these particular articles we are going to see with respect to the GS paper number 2, right to privacy or the matters related to privacy. Fine, there we are going to see this particular article. Now before even starting the discussion on this particular article, I would like to tell you one particular thing very clearly. See, this particular issue has become a lot politicized. Fine, a lot of politicization of this particular matter has happened. So if a question is coming and if you are writing anything on that, make sure that your criticisms are having some academic substance. Political criticisms, etc. should not be there in your answer. So that political references we need not to take from both of these articles, only academic idea we need to take. Now let's start this with this particular article first. So guys, first of all, the story started in 2021. What happened in 2021? Basically, a consortium of journalists and the publishing houses, okay, the Reuters was there, Washington Post were there. So around the world there are the 17 publishing houses or the journalist association that came together, and they carry an investigative journalism. What is investigative journalism? Here the basically media publishers, here the journalists, they will try to dig up certain issues that are not into the limelight. So investigative journalism was carried, and basically it was found this particular thing that around the world many of the countries, they have used this Pegasus spyware to spy on the people. Is it clear or not? It was found that even into the India, this Pegasus spyware has been used by the government to track the people's movement. To basically through this Pegasus spyware, what happened? People's mobile phones have been tracked. Is it clear or not? They have been hacked. So this was something that has come, and it was identified that actually the ministers, opposition members, many of the political leaders, journalists, judges, human right defenders, is it clear or not, their cell phones have been hacked. It was provided that around 3,000 people belonging to this category, the opposition member, ministers, their mobile phone got hacked, and their privacy, their confidential informations were taken down, their call records were taken down, okay, and all these particular things happened. Now guys, let's discuss little bit about this Pegasus spyware number 1. So guys, this Pegasus spyware, it is made by the NSO group of Israel. Now when we talk about this Pegasus spyware, it is made by the NSO group of Israel. It has the zero click capability. What is this zero click capability? See, if your phone needs to be hacked, you will click on some link or you will give access to some another person, but The Pegasus, it is such a sophisticated software that even you, without clicking on any one particular thing, it can get the access of your mobile phone. For example, what will happen? There will be one particular silent notification that will be delivered on your phone. A silent message will be delivered on your phone. That message will basically unleash this particular spyware in your phone, and after a few seconds that particular message will also get auto deleted. So your phone is kept fine somewhere in the night, you are not be accessing the phone for few hours, all this particular thing will happen, and now the person will get the remote access of your mobile phone. They can read your messages, they can hear your calls, okay, they can track your activity through the GPS of the mobile phone, and all these particular things happened. And this software was used, or spyware was used on all these particular people. Now guys, the question comes that first of basically that it is the violation of the privacy. Is it clear or not? Now let's assess this particular issue. So guys, it has been said that when it was revealed that the spyware has been the Pegasus spyware has been used on Indians, the government had refused to admit this particular thing, number one. Number two, even into the parliament, the debate on this Pegasus spyware has not happened. Is it clear? First, this it was revealed that we in India it has been used. Secondly, there was one report that was published by the New York Times which provided that India has even bought the Pegasus in 2017 from the Israel as a part of their $2 billion defense package deal. So this particular thing became even more confirmed that in India such Pegasus spyware might have been used. Now guys, the second problem that comes here is that though government is not discussing that matter, government is not bringing that particular matter onto the mainstream. Moreover, the CERT-in, that is the Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, which is a nodal organization to deal with the cyber security related issues, cyber security breaches, the CERT-in has stayed silent in this particular matter, which is very much wrong. After that guys, next thing that has been there is that when we talk about the India is a representative democracy where the executive is responsible. Now legislature is responsible for holding the accountability of the executive, but the legislature has failed to hold the accountability of the executive. The ruling government is not allowing them to hold any kind of a debate, discussions, etc. Nothing has happened. Moreover guys, as this particular matter was going on, the matter reached to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court said that a technical committee will be established. Are you getting it or not? So the victims approached to the Supreme Court and it constituted a technical committee to examine this particular matter. But now guys, more than 8 months have happened and up till now this technical committee has not submitted its report. Fine. Moreover, in this particular direction, the West Bengal government, what they did, the West Bengal government, they established a commission of inquiry. Now this commission of inquiry was to see in this particular matter. Then the Supreme Court said that no, West Bengal cannot do that particular thing because already the Supreme Court is constituting that particular committee. Now in the other countries, guys, as I told you that it was not only for India, in the many countries this was said that the Pegasus spyware has been used. So when it was found into the Israel that they might have also used that particular thing, they established a senior interministerial team to see that whether such kind of thing has happened or not. Even the France ordered investigation the moment it was revealed that in France also it might have been used, but in India we have not done that particular thing. Now guys, the next question comes that okay, if this surveillance is being carried, how the government gets the power to carry such kind of a surveillance? Okay, so guys, actually there are the two of the acts by which the government is getting the power to carry this particular surveillance. Number one is there the Information Technology Act 2000, IT Act 2000, and second is the Indian Telegraph Act 1885. So the Information Technology Act, IT Act 2000 and Indian Telegraph Act 1885 are the one where the provisions are there which can be used by the government to carry such kind of a massive surveillance. So guys, if we talk about these particular acts, number one, the section 5 subclause 2, there is the section 5 subclause 2 of the Indian Telegraph Act. Now read the provision, very ambiguous provisions. What it says that the government can intercept a message or a class of message, government can intercept a message or a class of message it is in the interest of the sovereignty, integrity of India, the security of the state, friendly relations with the foreign states, or public order, or to prevent the incitement of the commission of an offense. Now, public order, this particular ground, it is a very vague ground. Anything can come in public order. To maintain the sovereignty of India, anything can come in that particular thing. To prevent the incitement of an offense, now what offense? What incitement? Anything can come here. Clear? So this section 5 of the Indian Telegraph Act, it is very much wide, and it gives a lot of power to the government that it can use its provision and can spy on the people, can carry the surveillance. Now guys, there is one particular judgment also that had come in this particular direction. The People's Union for Civil Liberties versus Union of India case. There, what Supreme Court has said, Supreme Court had said that the telephonic conservations are covered by the right to privacy. Fine, and as per that, telephonic conservations, you cannot just tap them as a normal routine. But guys, to bypass this particular thing, rule 419A was brought. Okay, and basically it has been said that surveillance can be done if the sanction of Home Secretary is given. However, you don't need to go too much into such kind of a hairline detail, not important for now, the UPSC exam. So number one is the Telegraph Act section 5 subclause 2, and guys, the second I told you is the IT Act. Now under the IT Act, there is a section number 69. So again, the section 69 is very broad. It says it facilitates the government to intercept or monitor or decrypt any information through computer resource. So here, mobile phones, your computers will come. So it has been said that any information or a message can be decrypted into the interest of, again, sovereignty of India, integrity of India, security of the state, defense of India, friendly relation, fine, for public order, for preventing or investigating any cognizable offense. So basically the mobile phone, the computer can be tagged. Now guys, in all this particular thing, there is one more judgment, important judgment that comes. That is the Puttaswamy versus Union of India case. Puttaswamy versus Union of India case. Now what is this Puttaswamy versus Union of India case? Now in the Puttaswamy case, the Supreme Court provided this particular thing. Supreme Court in the Puttaswamy case provided this particular thing, that the privacy is a fundamental right under article number 21 of the Indian Constitution. Privacy is a fundamental right under the article number 21 of Indian Constitution. So it means that even if the laws should not be used to infringe your fundamental right, but what is happening, government is violating this particular Puttaswamy case judgment and is violating on the privacy by carrying this surveillance projects. Is it clear or not? So this is the problem that is coming in this particular direction. Moreover guys, understand this particular thing, that even we are now debating the data protection law we are working upon. Now the Joint Parliamentary Committee has provided that basically the surveillance needs to be needs to be more tightened up. Fine, it should not be allowed. But guys, many of the suggestions that had been given, they have not been accepted by the government. Moreover, actually onto the ground, what has happened, there are many exemptions that have been given into this data protection law to the government, and government can use that. Fine, that is something that is there. So guys, today we need to have the surveillance reforms into the India. There is a gap in the surveillance framework which is leading to violation of the democratic ideals. People's privacy, people's liberties are getting infringed. Moreover, recently Freedom in the World report, what it did, it actually changed the status of India from a free nation to partly free nation. This is actually, guys, a very big insult. Okay, from free to partly free nations. Okay, so therefore what we need to do in order to shun away these particular kind of tags that are being imposed on India, such as the partly free, we need to go for wide surveillance reforms in India, and we need to actually secure on the ground people's fundamental rights. So this is something that has been provided in this particular dimension. So guys, I hope that this entire issue you have understood. Now guys, if you have paid attention on this particular thing, any question coming from this particular dimension you can tackle. No need to read anything if you have understood this particular thing apart from that, because guys, in UPSC what we need to have, we need to make our content more crisp. So that is something that is needed. And please download guys this PDF so that you can access this entire write-up which I had provided here. Here the summary of both of these articles is provided. Now moving to the next article. Okay, so guys, this particular article we have taken from the text and the context section, and the article reads, of macho man and invisible women. Now guys, basically this article is talking about the stories of recently released movie. For example, the KGF was there, then the RRRR is there. Is it clear? So it shows that how in these movies the depiction of male has been shown as something very supreme. Is it clear? The women have been shown in a kind of a subordination. So guys, though in this particular article a lot of references of the storylines, a lot of references of the movies, etc. has been given, but that part is not important. Academic part is more important. So we will see the academic sense of this particular article, and we will see it with respect to the GS paper number 1, Indian society. GS paper number 1, Indian society, issues related to the women. Indian society, issues related to the women. Now let's see. So basically what happens guys, now the popular films such as the KGF, RRR, though the names are not that important, and even that is nothing, not to be seen too much also. So it has been seen that the popular films right now onto the pan India category, fine, or the movies that have come in 2022, what they are depicting that what an ideal man should look like. And this idea of an ideal man is one who is hyper masculine. Now hyper masculine is one who has a very sharp look. Fine, the person needs to have a very muscular physique, looks needs to be very sharp. Okay, he needs to be a macho man type of a personality. So hyper masculine type of a man is being shown as an ideal man. And actually the women, the actresses, the heroines into the movies, these heroines are just an extension of the hero. They don't have their independent identity, they don't have their autonomous identity, they are just tied to the hero. For example, in the KGF, the heroine did not had any independent existence. She was tied to the cause, and she was tied to the activities of the heroes. Now this particular article says this particular thing, that in these particular movies the women, they are being just seen as busy in only one thing. That, see, first of all it has been said that women are just busy in supporting the hero. Fine, they are basically, the women, they are being shown that they are getting very thin because they are the ideal wives, and an ideal wife has a particular role to play. They are the ideal mothers, they are the love interest, they are the relatives of the neighbors of the men. Everything is revolving around the men, and these women, they are always in a trouble, and they are waiting that a hero comes and hero rescues them from the distress. They are always waiting to get acknowledged, they are waiting to get rescued. Are you getting it or not? They are sacrificing everything just for the sake of the hero. Is it clear? So if there's a mother is sacrificing everything just for nurturing the hero, and if the love of the girlfriend or the wife of the hero is there, she is also sacrificing her identity. Now guys, it has been said that basically these kind of women only who are sacrificing, they are shown as a ideal women. Are you getting it or not? Ideal women should take care of the macho men. Now I want to tell you one particular thing guys, that a very big sociological problem is there in India, that we have imposed a lot of symbolism on the women. There is the burden of symbolism on the women. For example, the women cannot be rude. Women is one who is all forgiving, all loving, all compromising, all sacrificing. So this symbolism has been attached onto the women, and actually if you ask the women, and the women who are watching this particular thing, they even don't want this particular symbolism. They want a free life where always don't want to fulfill everybody's expectation. They don't want to be seen that okay, they are always compromising, they are always loving. No, they have their own choices, they have their own lives. Okay, but these movies are reinforcing that particular stereotype, that ideal woman is one who is taking care of a macho man. Moreover, next thing that has been provided here is that basically we find that in India now what has happened guys, very good keyword has been there, thorification of men. So guys, you might have heard about the Thor. Is it clear or not? Thor, fine, he's a superhero. Okay, you might have seen the movies of the Thor. So basically Thor is a very macho man kind of a superhero. So in India the man's Thorification has also happened. Only the macho man type of man are being presented, hyper masculine heroes are being presented. Now why this particular thing is happening guys? The article says that it is because that it is linked to the crisis in economy. Today if we see 80% of our labor force is male, 80% of labor force is male. Everywhere there are the male, and because of that particular thing, the women are being basically the women's, they are being sidelined, they are being kept only onto the periphery. So this is idea which has been provided in this particular article. Clear? I'll guys not advise you to read this particular article in entirety, because then those unnecessary movie references have been given which are not important. Now moving to the next article. What can the world do to help Sri Lanka? Okay. Now guys, this particular article we'll be seeing with respect to the GS paper number 2, India's neighborhood policy, India's neighborhood first policy, neighborhood first policy. Now see, first of all guys, but basically the points that have been coming here, fine, we will be seeing this particular point just to make a broad understanding, because by the time your exam will be coming, many of these things are going to get changed. Okay, chalo. So guys, recently we have seen this particular thing that Ranil Wickremesinghe, he has been elected as the new president of the Sri Lanka, and now India gets an opportunity to further carry a new type of relationship with the Sri Lanka. Now first of all, when we see Sri Lanka, many times in our newspaper analysis already we have seen the economic crisis that is going into the Sri Lanka. So we see this particular thing that there is a foreign debt default that has been committed by Sri Lanka. BOP crisis is going on to the Sri Lanka. Economy of the Sri Lanka is facing a stagflation. What is stagflation? Stagflation is a situation where the stagnation and inflation both comes in an economy. Stagnation is there, growth is absent, and inflation is coming. Prices of the commodities are rising. This is stagflation. Then we find this particular thing that the inflation rate has spiraled to 50%, which is very much huge. Food shortage is there, fuel shortage is there. Fine. Basic necessities people are not able to get. 750,000 people, okay, they are just to become the new poor. And since 1948, this is the worst economic crisis that the Sri Lanka is facing. Now the crisis has also been exacerbated because of the COVID-19 pandemic, Russia-Ukraine conflict, economic mismanagement, economic maladministration that has been done by the Rajapaksas earlier. Now there is an opportunity for India. How the opportunity for India is there? See, India first of all has been the first responder into the Sri Lankan crisis. If I tell you, up till now, in just 6 months of 2022, India has provided the aid about $3.8 billion to the Sri Lanka. So the aid has been provided as we have given them the loans, we have given them the grants. The difference between a grant and a loan is this: loan is to be returned back, a grant is not to be returned back. Clear? The loan, grant, the currency swap agreements, fine, bilateral aids have been given, and this is in fact the biggest bilateral aid that India has given to any of the countries. So India has been a swift responder in this particular crisis. Now guys, when we talk about stabilizing the Sri Lankan economy, it is first of all going in line with the India's neighborhood first policy. If the Sri Lanka stabilizes, then guys, India will get benefit out of that. Economic relations between the Sri Lanka and India will enhance. Moreover, guys, see the location of Sri Lanka. Fine. So guys, if you see the location of the Sri Lanka, fine, it is sitting onto the tip of the India. So this location is very strategically important. Is it clear or not? So therefore, strategically Sri Lanka can be a very important partner. But at the same time, if the Sri Lanka is unstable, if we are not able to help the Sri Lanka, that unstable Sri Lanka will create problems for the India, particularly the region of Tamil Nadu. The spillover effect, the negative spillover effect of the destable Sri Lanka will come on India. Even the China will take an opportunity. Guys, you know this particular thing that the Hambantota port already has been taken by the China on a 99-year lease. So China can further exploit this particular situation against the India. So it is in India's interest that we need to make Sri Lanka stable. Okay, so guys, therefore right now we need to work very closely with the United States, Japan, IMF, fine, European Union, that how all of them can provide directly the aid to the Sri Lanka. Now what needs to be done in this particular direction? So guys, number one, we need to show our commitment that we are very much serious about stabilizing the Sri Lankan economy. Right now the IMF is actually signing the EFF, Extended Fund Facility Agreement. Under this extended fund facility agreement, what IMF does, IMF helps the countries which are facing a BOP crisis. Now guys, in case you don't know what is a simple explanation of BOP crisis, so see, if there is any country, the country imports certain goods and it exports certain goods. Now obviously when the goods are being imported, the country needs to pay for these imports, let's say into the terms of dollar. Okay, so guys, if a company is not having the adequate dollars, if the country is not having the adequate foreign exchange reserves, obviously it cannot pay for the imports, and therefore the country will default, and there will be this BOP crisis. India might have faced the BOP crisis in 1991, because in 1991 India's foreign exchange reserve also went very much down, critically low. But at that point of a time, we also took the help of the IMF, and IMF provided this extended fund facility to India, where we were provided the foreign exchange and we helped. And today we have now one of the biggest foreign exchange reserves in the world. So today, under the EFF, the IMF is helping India, Sri Lanka, sorry, and here India needs to play a constructive role. How India can play a constructive role? India can actually make sure that a favorable terms are being delivered to the Sri Lanka. Okay, second thing what we can do, we can later words aside, see whenever the IMF helps, IMF puts certain conditions also. For example, in order to make your economy better, you need to increase the taxes, you need to reduce the expenditures. So here also economic assistance, economic advices, okay, economic restructuring can be provided by India to Sri Lanka. Second thing, government, India should help Sri Lanka in implementing the structural reforms. They need to help how Sri Lankan economy can become more open, how Sri Lankan economy can become more export oriented. All these things we can also teach to them. Then basically guys, as this IMF will be coming, I told you it will also impose certain conditions. So national consensus is to be built into Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan people also needed to accept these particular reforms. So for that, national consensus building also India can help. Now guys, after that, we also need to help that the Sri Lanka should restore the rule of law. What had happened recently, we have seen that the presidential palace was stormed by the people. They entered into the presidential palace, so a kind of a rule of law is getting broken down. This particular thing also needs to be established. Okay, so guys, right now, moreover, when we talk about Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka has to reset the foreign policy towards more neutral direction. Right, in the past we have seen that the Sri Lanka was becoming pro-China. Pro-China. Why? For example, Hambantota port was given at 99-year lease to China. Moreover, the East Coast terminal that India was developing, from that India was dropped. Why? Obviously because of the China. So this East pro-China stand of Sri Lanka, they need to change and they need to become more neutral. So in that direction also, the foreign policy related assistance can be provided by India. So India needs to stand by the Sri Lanka in this particular hour. It has a win-win situation for both. So this is guys all about this particular article, and now let's move to the next article. Okay, now this particular article, what it reads: no need to amend the anti-defection law. Now guys, in the past we have seen quite a few articles onto the anti-defections. Even if you are following the newspaper analysis, just couple of days back I had taken one side article into the Hindu, where we have discussed the 1922 committee of the UK, 1922 committee of the UK, where even the MPs want, if they want, they can remove the PM. Already MPs in the United Kingdom, they have removed their PM, and there the 1922 committee of the UK played a very important role. So in India also we need to bring the amendment into the anti-defection law. That suggestion was given. Clear? And guys, this actually article of 1922 UK committee was a very good article. Okay, and if you have not followed it, just you can follow it. Just a couple of days back we have discussed this particular thing. Okay, just if okay, this is something that has happened. Okay, just if you give me 1 minute, I'll tell you even that when we discuss that particular article. Okay, I will put the name of that particular article into the timestamp, okay, into the pinned comment. You can see from there. Okay, coming back. So basically, what I was telling this particular thing, that actually in India there are certain suggestions that have been given, that we need to amend the anti-defection law so that the defections don't happen. Number one, what do we understand by the anti-defection law? So guys, basically there was the time of Ayaram Gayaram politics that was going on in the Indias in 1960s. What happened? The political person who got elected on the ticket of one political party, let's say the Congress, what happened after getting elected? He will change the party and will join some another party, another XYZ party. party, then again he will change party. So the party loyalties were being changed. In a way, it was breaching the electoral trust. How electoral trust is being breached? Because guys, when a person elects a legislator, the person doesn't only votes for that person, he also votes for the party. But when you change the party, that particular electoral trust is breached. So basically what happened, in order to avoid these particular defections that were going on, India came out with the anti-defection law. Anti-Defection law. Now this anti-defection law was brought by the 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act, and one new schedule, that is the 10th schedule, was added into the Constitution of India. And this anti-defection law restricted the defections. It provided that if an elected person who has been elected on one political party, if he joins another political party, he can be defected. Is it clear or not? If an independent elected person joins a political party, he can be defected. Are you getting? He will be disqualified. If he defects, he can be disqualified. So anti-defection law came. But guys, into the anti-defection law, we are now saying that it has failed. Still people are defecting, but they are not getting disqualified. Moreover, into the anti-defection law, there is one more provision, that if you speak against your political party, if you vote against your political party on certain matter, then also you can be disqualified. Now this is something which is problematic. Clear? So we say that anti-defection law needs to be amended. Fine. So if you're following newspaper analysis regularly, you might be seeing all this development that is going on from so many days. Now guys, what had happened recently, the law minister has given a statement into the Rajya Sabha where they said that now we don't need to amend the anti-defection law. They say anti-defection law is perfect, and even the Supreme Court has provided that the anti-defection law is perfect. So what is the judgment that have been there? So guys, let's see that whether the anti-defection is perfect or not. So there is a Supreme Court judgment, that is the Kyoto Holohon versus Zachiluhu case. Now into the Kyoto Holohon judgment, the Supreme Court provided this particular thing, that the 10th schedule, the anti-defection law, it is correct except the paragraph 7 which relates to the judiciability of the decision of the speaker or the chairperson. Now basically what it is all providing about, into the Kyoto Holohon case, it is provided that anti-defection law is correct. There is only one provision. What is the provision? Provision provided this particular thing, that see, when we talk about the anti-defection law, the speaker or the presiding officer of the house is one who will be dealing on this particular matter, that whether a person is to be disqualified or not. If a member has to be disqualified, the presiding officer, for example speaker, is going to take the decision. Now can the courts interfere in this particular matter or not? So in the Kyoto Holohon judgment, it was provided that the courts cannot interfere in this matter until the decision has been taken by the presiding officer. So here it has been provided that the Constitutional Court cannot judicially review the disqualification procedure under the 10th schedule until the speaker or the chairman makes a final decision on merits. So the judicial review's scope was very much limited. So the law minister says this particular thing, that in Kyoto Holohon judgment, they provided that anti-defection law is working fine. Even they reduced the judicial review's role into the anti-defection law. So there is no need to amend that. Is it clear? So this is all about this particular article. However guys, one particular request I want to make, that please sincerely follow the newspaper analysis. Okay? Why? Because only if you follow it regularly over a period of time, you will be able to make the interconnection with the news, and interconnection is very much important to write the multi-dimensional answer. So if you watch one day, or if you read the newspaper, whatever you are comfortable, number one, do that. So if you follow it for a few days and then you leave, it is not going to make a everlasting knowledge. Fine. So this is something. Now guys, that is all about it. I hope you have understood it, and with this we come to an end to the today's newspaper analysis. Now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Till then guys, please do take care of yourselves, and if you have liked the video, please do like the video so that I can know that you are liking it. Moreover, also please leave your comments. Your comments are the most important part of this particular initiative. They are very valuable to me. I read every single of your comment and even reply you back also. Okay, so please leave a comment. Fine. And now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Till then, take care of yourselves. Thank you so much.